Walk onto any train or down any busy city street, and the behavior is identical. Commuters are sealed off, wrapping their minds in a thick layer of audio before they even find a seat. Occasionally, you'll see someone sitting in total stillness, staring out the window or resting their eyes without a device in sight. We often view them as eccentric or assume they just haven't caught up with the modern world. This person is guarding a cognitive resource that the rest of society has surrendered to the stream. This calendar shows the scale of what is being given up. The average person spends 38 full days every year consuming digital noise, a massive portion of our annual waking life spent inside an interface. When we spend over a month of every year in a digital loop, those hours are no longer available for our own internal lives or the world immediately around us. We tell ourselves that constant background audio helps us relax or work better, but the brain doesn't actually work that way. Instead, it enters a state of continuous partial attention. By splitting your processing power between the physical environment and a digital stream, the mind never fully commits to the present. It loses the bandwidth required to construct a single, deeply reasoned thought. We are trading the genuine, unfiltered textures of our daily lives for a simulated digital theater echoing inside our ears. The rush to avoid 10 minutes of boredom results in a permanent disconnection from the physical world right in front of us. The hyper-stimulating podcasts and playlists we lean on are not passive entertainment. They are active psychological drivers. This neurological loop explains why it is so hard to hit pause. Behavioral engineers have designed these platforms to act as delivery mechanisms for quick, reliable dopamine hits. These artificial spikes tap into the primitive parts of the brain that govern reward, creating a loop where the mind begins to crave constant stimulation just to feel satisfied. Over time, the brain requires increasingly higher levels of noise to achieve that same baseline feeling of normalcy. The audio we think we are choosing is often just a highly engineered behavioral cycle designed to capture our attention as efficiently as possible. Never allowing the brain to experience true silence carries a biological cost. The prefrontal cortex is the command center responsible for deep focus, critical thinking, and complex decision-making. Clinical data shows that when the brain is constantly chasing dopamine hits, the baseline activity of the prefrontal cortex diminishes. This helps explain why it feels increasingly difficult to sit with a single thought or finish a book without instinctively reaching for a digital distraction. Algorithms are calibrated to highlight everything you aren't seeing or doing, creating a sense of inadequacy that only more consumption can temporarily soothe. We call it FOMO, but it is effectively a pressure to stay plugged in so we don't fall behind the culture. We fill the silence because we are afraid of what we might hear if we are left entirely alone with our own thoughts. When you look at the silent commuter through this neurological lens, they aren't out of touch. They possess a highly regulated and healthy mind. They have stepped out of the race for external validation and instead source their satisfaction from internal reflection. By unplugging during the commute, they give the prefrontal cortex the rest it needs to recover its sharpness and its capacity for deep focus. They effectively reclaim those lost 38 days, using the silence to think, create, and exist without a narrator in their head. A silent commute serves as a deliberate protocol for cognitive recovery. Smartphones and headphones are tools, not inherent enemies. But you have to ask yourself, are you using the tool for your own benefit, or is the tool using you? Choosing to commute in silence is a conscious decision to guard your mental energy and take back your attention. In a world designed to keep you performing and consuming, sitting in silence is a quiet, effective way to reclaim your own mind. Tomorrow morning, leave your headphones in your bag for the first 10 minutes of your journey. Sit with your thoughts and see how it feels to be the one in control.